Hey guys, well, I wasn't gonna make a video for a while, but I was watching, I hate this new camera setup. As a matter of fact, let me just disconnect this real quick. Hang on guys. I was watching a video earlier this morning of another fellow YouTuber and friend. I may have mentioned her before as part of my inspiration. Yeah, I did mention her. Part of my inspiration for going ahead and pulling the trigger on pursuing this truck driving career, or truck driving venture. Not a career, not for me anyway. I don't plan on being in it very long. But yeah, I was watching a video of hers this morning, and she was being very transparent about her current situation, and she's been sharing, bits and pieces of her journey all along the way. When she was trying to get into school, her process of getting into school, and then going through the school process, graduating, and then starting as a tanker truck driver. Like I said previously, she's ex-military. I don't know what she did in the military. I don't know if she was familiar with operating large vehicles or not, but yeah, she does have a military background, so you could tell a little bit about her personality, not even knowing her, that she's a go-getter. She's not a quitter. She's a hard worker, and then other aspects from her channel and things that she shared, you just know these things about her. So when she was sharing today that she has quit her job, has quit her position as a tanker truck driver, and at this moment she's not sure if she's going to stay with driving trucks or not. I'm not sure if she knows that there's other areas of driving trucks that she can do. If tanker doesn't work out for her, it doesn't seem like it's a good fit. There's other avenues of trucking that she can do, and she doesn't have to do industrial heavy duty semi truck driving. With her CDL license, she can do just about anything. There are so many options available to her, and this is one of the reasons that I wanted to pursue getting a CDL. Like I said, I don't plan on making a career out of it, meaning that I don't plan on doing this for years and years and years, and I don't plan on buying my own truck and becoming an owner operator and all of that. I don't have aspirations for that. Like I said, I'm an older woman. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I'm an older woman, and if I had any kind of ideas about that, I would have done it 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And I wish I had. I wish I had gotten into trucking a lot sooner than now. But I'm getting off track for why I decided to do a video today. Like I said, I hadn't planned on making a video right now. I think I had actually owed you guys a video maybe a week ago, but I didn't make a video because the reason why I decided to make a video today is because, again, I was inspired by her openness and her honesty about the journey that she's gone through and is going through, and where she's at right now mentally, emotionally, and physically and all of those things pertaining to the job that she was doing. And I appreciated the information that she shared also for up and coming drivers or people who are looking possibly to pursue a job or career in trucking. It just adds more insight prior to making that decision, or for those of us who are still going through the process. It kind of gives us a different perspective on how things could possibly go, you know? So I appreciated her honesty and her openness. And so I was like, you know what? I should go ahead and make a video today and just share with you guys some of the things that have been going on with me and this process. So the last time I made a video for you guys, I told you that I had taken the test, that I had passed the pre-trip and I had passed the skills in the yard, but I failed the driver's part, right? So then I told you guys that the administrator of the school was going to put those of us who didn't pass on a modified schedule to allow us time to come in and, you know, continue our skills, practice our skills up until the next test date. And unfortunately, because there was a holiday coming up, the Monday that we should have tested, it would push back our test date an additional 2 weeks, which would give us a whole month of practice time. Well, the reality is, once you leave these driving schools, they're only obligated to you for the time period that you paid for, basically, that you were scheduled to be a part of their curriculum, a part of their classroom, and all of that, all of their training. So this modified schedule that the administrator had given us was them going out of their way, really, them going the extra mile to help you succeed through this process. Most schools cut you off once you're done with those classes. Once you reach the end of your 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, however long your school program that you signed up for is done, then they're pretty much done with you, and you're just kind of SOL'd, and you're going to have to make it the rest of the way on your own. And so one of the things that I like and appreciate about this school, and is another reason why I chose them, is that they don't do that. They don't just throw you to the wolves when the classes are done, and if you don't pass one or all of the tests to get your CDL, they will continue to work with you until you succeed. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm truly, 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 truly grateful for that. The only drawback, or negative, if you want to look at it in that way, is that because they are not obligated to continue to help you, their time is limited. So this modified schedule that the administrator put together for us was centered around time that they could really fit us in, because they've got a whole new class now. And so they're obligated to the class that they currently have, and any additional help that they're giving us, they have to try to squeeze us in when time is available. So even though we've had a month of time-wise to practice for the next test, it really hasn't been a consistent month. We're not there every day. We might get there, we might be able to come and practice 1 or 2 times out of a week. And that's only for like 30 minutes. Because again, everybody has to have a chance to get behind the wheel and like I said, we have limited time before the instructors have to focus on their class. So in essence, we've gotten additional driving time, but not that much, not a significant amount of time. And like I said, for you guys before, for me, I think the problem is that short period of time that we have to try to get this in order to pass the test. And again, for me, I don't want to just pass. I want to know what I'm doing when I get behind the wheel. I want to feel confident. I want to feel comfortable. And I feel more confident. I feel more comfortable. Like I said, for me, it was never a nervousness thing. It was never an intimidation thing. It was never, when I get behind the wheel, I'm just terrified. But at the same time, I understand the power that's in my hands. that's at the mercy of my movements, So I don't want to do anything to jeopardize the vehicle that we're in, anybody on the streets, anybody else's cars, or, private property or anything. So I'm very cautious when I'm behind the wheel. And if something doesn't feel right, I'm not going to do it. And so I took the test, even though I wasn't ready, because again, I didn't have an option to, because the state is coming out to us to test us. Instead of us having to go to the state and do the test there, we have to test when they come. So I didn't have an option to test the first time. And of course, I didn't pass. I took the test the second time. Didn't pass that either. And the second time, unlike the first time, I think I'm just going to be honest. I think I gave up before I even started. The week, matter of fact, I think it was 3 days before we were due to test, one of my fellow classmates who was retesting with me sent me a text message, and he said that Tony is supposed to be our inspector on the day of testing. They're not called inspectors. They're called examiners. I keep calling them inspectors. She's our examiner for that day. And the minute he told me that, my heart sunk. My heart sunk. Because I don't know if I told you guys in the previous video, when they sent, on the first time that we tested, they sent a gentleman out to test us. And we were waiting for the previous classes folks to go first before they started testing us. Well, in the middle of our testing, another examiner showed up, and it was Tony. Tony is the head, the big boss, the person who schedules all of the examiners to go out to different schools, go out to different locations and test people. She's the head person in charge. And from what we had been told in class, our instructors were trying to give us a heads up on some of the different examiners that typically come out to the school to test us. Their different personalities, the kind of things that they'll specifically be looking for. Some ask more questions than others. Some will get in the truck and they won't say a word to you. I mean, complete silence the entire time. All of these different aspects they were trying to prepare us for. And so when they mentioned Tony, because she is the big boss, because she is the one in charge, I guess, over there at the DMV or Secretary of State, in this specific area, she's a stickler. She's by the book only. She's, she's she's no nonsense. And so, everything, part of the thing that irritates me about taking these tests or preparing to take the test is that you keep hearing, this is an automatic fail. That's an automatic fail. If you do this, it's an automatic fail. If you do that, it's an automatic fail. That'll automatically fail you. And it's like every little thing that you do is scrutinized to the highest him. It seems like. Why can't I get this window down? Okay, there we go. And so, like I said, the guy that I drove with, the inspector that I drove with, he was very lenient. He was very laid back, very chilled, very informative and all of that. He spoke with me, he talked with me a little bit and, tried to calm down any kind of nervous concerns I had or anything. I like that guy, and I really wish we had gotten him this second term. So because we had already been forewarned about Tony and some of the other inspectors, the minute I realized it was her that we were going to be testing with, I kind of, in my mind, I'm like, I've already failed. I've already failed because, yeah. And don't get me wrong, and it's not that I'm thinking negatively, but again, I know that I'm not at the level that many of my classmates are or were, and I know I'm not at the level that a lot of these inspectors, these examiners are looking for, and her being the top dog and being so specific and so, hate to use the word anal, but yeah, about every little thing you do, I'm like, I'm not gonna make it with her. I'm not gonna make it with her. And I don't know if it was my own thinking that kind of sabotaged me in the situation, but it wasn't very long before I got in the truck with her, and she was one that she spoke when I got in. She said, "Hi, how you doing?" But then she didn't say anything else for the rest of the ride. But yeah, it wasn't too long after we left the lot that I started having issues with shifting. And it wasn't that I wasn't getting into gear. They were just grinding going into gear. And I was like, oh, Lord. It was just a lot of grinding. But like I said, I did the course. We weren't going to get stranded anywhere. The truck wasn't going to shut off or anything like that. I knew how to recover any mistakes that I made, but it was just the fact that I made mistakes along the way. And it was like I kept making mistakes and, kept grinding those gears. And I'm like, what the crap? Why? Of all days, why? I've never grinded as much as I did that particular day. And I'm like, mentally looking back at it, I'm like, is it because she was in the car with me or in the truck with me? Is it because in my mind I knew that I was sitting next to a stickler and that every little thing I do, she's gonna be scrutinizing? And yeah, I don't know what it was, but I didn't pass. I didn't pass for the second time. Today is Monday. I believe it's March 10th. I think it's March 10th. We're due to test again on next Monday. So the Monday coming up, we'll be testing again. And I pray to God they don't send her back out. But yeah, I'm right now they have me scheduled to come in and practice on Thursday and Friday. And the good thing about it, I'm the last one left from my class. Everybody else has passed. And I'm happy for all of them. I'm the only person still left from my class that has not passed this driving part. And the good thing about that is I have more driving time because I don't have to allot any other time for anybody else that still needs to get behind the wheel. So it's just me and the instructor. And so what the administrator did when I got out of the truck with her that day, what our school does, and I get why they do it, but I don't know if I necessarily appreciate it. The class that will be graduating after us was out in the yard, watching our process as we go through the testing. And so when I got out of the truck, they're all standing there and they're like, "Did you pass? Did you pass?" And I'm like, I really didn't want to talk to anybody. I was so upset with myself. I was so disappointed that I didn't pass this thing twice. I really didn't want to talk to anybody. But I went straight to the office and I sat down with the administrator, and he was like, I've been hearing nothing but good things from the instructors. They're saying that you're really good at this and you're really good at that and blah, blah, blah. He was like, "What do you think it is?" And I was like, "I don't know. I have no idea what it is, but whatever it is, I'm not getting it." And so he said that he was going to talk to the head instructor, and my remaining time practicing in the truck, he was going to have me train only with the head instructor. So the last time I got in the truck to practice, the head instructor was in the truck as well as the administrator. He got inside because I guess they wanted to see, what it was I was struggling with, why I was having so many problems. And the both of them kept talking about how good I was doing. I'm like, well, why I keep failing this test then if I'm doing so great? Even, and I told you before that both the instructor that I have normally been going out with, as well as the examiner from the previous test, both said to me that you're going to be a really good truck driver. You're going to be a really good truck driver. You're definitely going to be a truck driver, and you're going to be a really good one. Well, the administrator, before he got out the truck, he says to me, not that I'm trying to be encouraging or anything. He was like, "But you're going to be a really good truck driver." And I'm like, what the crap? This is the third time I've heard this now, but yet I keep failing this test. What is it? What is it? So, but like I said, the good thing is, at least this time around, I have more time behind the wheel, which I think helps. It helps tremendously for me because, like I said, each time I was getting behind the wheel prior to the first test, it was only like 15 or 20 minutes because you had to allot time for each person to get a chance behind the wheel. And then we had other things we needed to work on, like skills in the yard and practicing the pre-trip. So our day, even though it's an 8-hour day in class and school, it's broken up into several different parts. And so the driving part, of course, which is the longest, each one of us only got like maybe 15 or 20 minutes of driving time per day. And so for me, that wasn't enough. So once the class size scaled down, because the majority of my classmates had passed and there was only a handful of us left that didn't pass, we got to drive for about 30 minutes. 30 minutes each. And so, like I said, now that I'm the last one, I get a whole hour to myself, which is nice, which is really nice, because then I could really focus and, like I say, adjust the things that I need to adjust in a decent amount of time. You know what I'm saying? If I'm struggling with the shifting, I'm struggling with the footwork, I'm struggling with the coordination or whatever, how am I going to correct it if I'm only behind the wheel for 20 minutes each time? How am I going to correct it if I only get to drive once a day? So, yeah. So right now, I know that I'm supposed to be there Thursday and Friday. And then, like I said, we test on Monday. But I'm hoping they'll call me tomorrow and say, can you come in? Or call me later today and say, can you come in tomorrow? So at least I'll have 3 days to kind of practice and prepare for Monday. But Monday, I have to pass this test. I cannot fail this a third time. I just cannot fail this a third time. Like I said, this has been something. This has been something. I'm still excited about it. I'm still excited about driving trucks and becoming a truck driver. It's still what I want to do. But this process has been something. I wish it came easy. I wish I could have excelled through this class quickly, but it's not happened for me. It just has not happened for me. And so I had to just keep trying, keep trying until I get it. Thankfully, the place that I'm going to be working for, like I told you guys, I'm supposed to start April 1st for my orientation. I did call the recruiter and told her that I didn't pass the test. And so she was like, oh, she said, number one, you do realize that our fleet is all automatic, right? And I said, yeah, I know that. I said, but unfortunately, we're testing on manual trucks. I don't have an option but to test on manual trucks. So I have to pass the test in order to get my CDL. If we were training on automatic trucks, I would have passed it the first time. Easy as pie. I could drive an automatic anything. But because we're dealing with manual trucks, therein lies the problem. It's that whole shifting, coordination, clutching. Yeah, that's a pain in the butt, quite honestly. It's not as easy as you think it is. And maybe for the guys, because you guys are a little more technical or you're into automotives and all that kind of stuff. Maybe it's a little easier for you guys. I don't know. But yeah, this has been a little more difficult than I would have hoped it would have been. But I'm going to get it. I'm going to pass this.